What if I told you that burnout doesn't just drain your energy, it actually rewires your brain, it steals your joy, and silently kills your potential? And here's the part most people miss. Burnout doesn't arrive with a dramatic collapse. It doesn't really show up waving a red flag. It sneaks up quietly on us and it convinces you that this is just normal life. And by the time you notice, you've lost far more than sleep or energy. By the end of this video, you're not just going to understand burnout differently. You're going to uncover the hidden signs you might already be ignoring. And I'm going to give you 3 practical, powerful tools that you can start using today to begin reversing it. Now, this isn't just about waiting for your next holiday or for life to magically calm down. This is about learning how to stop the silent leak that's actually draining you and taking back your energy, your clarity, and really your life. Hi, I'm Marina Papa, founder of the AP Method, and if you're ready to do life, love, and success in a way that actually gets you results, then this video and this channel are for you. Now, I know the title of this video says High Achievers, and yes, a lot of my work is with ambitious professionals, leaders, clinicians, and people in high pressure careers. My own background is in dentistry, one of the most burnout prone professions out there. And I've lived this, I've seen it, and I've helped people climb out of it as well. But let me be clear, burnout doesn't care about your job title. You don't need to be a CEO or a dentist or an entrepreneur to experience it. Burnout is an equal opportunity thief. It actually hits parents, carers, students, creatives, 9-to-5ers, every single person who's been giving more than they've been receiving for too long. So whether you're running a business, whether you're raising kids, or simply trying to survive a relentless daily grind, this applies to you. Now, the danger with burnout is that it rarely shows up in a way that you can point to and say, there it is, that's it. Instead, it creeps in slowly. You start waking up tired even after you've had a good sleep. You lose patience with the people you love. You go through the motions at work or at home without feeling connected. And you'll start to say things like, once this project is over, I'll feel better, but there's always another project. You can't remember the last time you felt truly excited about your future. And here's the most devastating part. Burnout doesn't just kill your energy, it actually kills your imagination. When you're burnt out, you stop dreaming, you stop seeing possibilities, and you stop picturing a life that feels bigger, fuller, or freer for yourself. You kind of shrink down into survival mode where the only goal is to make it through the day. But life is not meant to be survived. Life is meant to be lived. And if you're thinking, this kind of sounds a bit dramatic, I'm just a little tired, then I want you to pause, because burnout is really, really sneaky. It convinces you to minimize your kind of pain that you're feeling or the disconnect, and it kind of whispers like, this is just how life is. But I want you to think about this. When was the last time you woke up genuinely excited for your day? When was the last time you finished work or finished your chores and still had energy left for the things you love? Now, when was the last time you laughed from your belly without forcing it? If those memories feel far away, chances are burnout has already been chipping away at you. Now, I remember a period in my own life where I thought I was just busy. I was driving to practices, I was traveling a lot, doing long clinical days or ticking boxes, living kind of for the weekend or for that next holiday. And then one day I realized I hadn't picked up a book I loved in months. I hadn't had a deep conversation that wasn't about work or responsibility in probably months. And I couldn't remember the last time I woke up without like a knot of dread in my stomach or like this anxiety. Now, this wasn't just busyness, that was burnout. And I know many of you listening have your own version of that story. So let's talk science for a moment, because I want you to know this isn't just like, just a topic that we're talking about. This is to do with your brain and your body and literally rewiring those things. So when you're under chronic stress, your body floods with cortisol. This is useful in short bursts when you need to respond to a genuine threat. But in burnout, your system never gets to reset. It's like your body is pressing the panic button every single day, multiple times a day. And over time, that shuts down your prefrontal cortex. Now, that's the part of your brain responsible for clarity, planning, and decision making. Meanwhile, your amygdala, which is the fear center, it becomes overactive, constantly signaling that threat. And this is why burnout feels like being trapped in survival mode and you don't even know it. And you're not just tired, you're wired for fear, for hopelessness, and kind of being a cynicism. So your nervous system is like a smoke alarm. In a healthy state, it goes off when there's a fire and then it quiets down again. But in burnout, it's like the smoke alarm has a faulty wire. It just screams at you constantly, even when there's no fire. You can't think clearly because your system is too busy scanning for danger, even when it's not there. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. Now, when you live in that state long enough, your brain begins to normalize it. You forget what calm feels like. You forget what presence feels like. You forget what joy feels like. And then you start telling yourself, this is just adulthood. This is just being responsible. This is just life. But it's not. That's the silent killer part. Now, I'll give you an image. Imagine you're living in a house with a tiny leak in the roof. At first, you kind of don't really notice it. Maybe you put a bucket under the sort of leak and you get on with your life, carry on with your life. But over time, that water rots the beams, molds the walls, it weakens the entire foundation, and one day, the whole ceiling caves in. Now, that's what burnout does. Small leaks, ignored, they will collapse the structure of your inner world. And it's not just about you. Burnout is actually contagious. When you're running on empty, your energy ripples out into everything and everyone around you. Your family feels it, your colleagues feel it, your kids absorb it. If you've ever noticed that your presence sets the tone in a room, that's not by accident. Energy is magnetic, so burnout doesn't just rob you, it tends to rob everyone else around you. So if you won't fight burnout for yourself, fight it for the people who you love and who love you. Before we go into practical tools, I want to give you something that will help you right now. I created a free core values workbook. Now, it's simple but powerful, and this will reconnect you with what truly matters to you. Because when you know your values, you start making choices that restore you instead of deplete you. So you can grab it using the link in the description of the video, and it is completely free and it'll be in your inbox within seconds, and it's the perfect next step if any of this is resonating to you. Now, let's get practical. So knowing you're burnt out doesn't fix it, action does. But here's where we're going to get very practical about this process. So here's 3 tools that I teach my own clients, and they can begin to shift things for you right from today. The first tool is the energy audit. Now, most people think they're exhausted because they're doing too much. But the truth is, you're often exhausted because you're leaking energy into things that don't actually matter. I once had a client who worked really, really long days, like 20-hour days. And she was convinced that the exhaustion came from the sheer number of things she was doing, and it was always coming at her. But then we mapped out her week, and it turns out what drained her wasn't the actual activities and things she was doing. It was the endless admin, the political battles in her work life, the way she said yes to every single request without thinking about it. So she was bleeding energy through tasks and dynamics that didn't align with her values. Now, once she saw it in black and white that way, she made a few changes. So she started to delegate a few things. She started to say no to one unnecessary commitment. And within a month, she told me, I feel like I've had my life handed back to me. You can do the same. So if you right now take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle, On the left, write what energizes you. So that's going to be a column that says energizes me. On the right, you're going to put drains me. And for 1 week, track everything, every task, every person, every conversation, every commitment. At the end of the week, you should see this clearly: the leaks, the unnecessary drains, the things costing you more than they give back. Now, some will shock you. Sometimes it's not the big things. It's really the daily micro leaks that eat into everything. So the chats that you always have that leave you heavy, the tasks that you keep saying yes to out of guilt maybe, the habits you cling to because you've never stopped to question them. And here's your first journaling prompt for this tool. What are the top 3 things that are draining my energy right now? And which of them can I remove, delegate, or change this week? The second tool is the micro reset. Now, burnout convinces you that recovery requires something massive, like a holiday or a sabbatical or like a total lifestyle overhaul. But neuroscience shows even micro pauses can reset your nervous system. So let's talk about an example here. A client of mine worked in a high-stress hospital environment, and she told me, I can't meditate, I can't do yoga, I don't have the time for self-care. But when I asked her if she could give me 60 seconds, she laughed and said, of course, I can give you 60 seconds. So I taught her box breathing. This is where you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, and then you exhale for 4. And then you do the same thing again. So just 60 seconds, a few times a day. Now, within 2 weeks, she noticed she was calmer, less reactive, and able to think more clearly under pressure. Obviously, it didn't fix her entire life, but it gave her enough space in her nervous system to start making better choices and slow down a little bit. So here's your challenge. 3 times a day, stop for 1, or even once a day, stop for 1 minute and do this box breathing technique. It sounds too simple, but it really calms your amygdala. It slows your heart rate and tells your body you are safe. And if breathing isn't your thing, try another micro reset. So something like stepping outside and just feeling the fresh air and breathing in fresh air for 60 seconds. Like drink a glass of water and take your time with it. Stretch your shoulders. Now, these aren't luxuries, they're actual lifelines. So your journaling prompt for this one is, what changes when I give myself 60 seconds to pause instead of pushing through? Now, the third tool is the future self check-in. Burnout shrinks your vision. It convinces you that life is only about surviving today, or like right this second. To break that cycle, you need to connect with your future self. Do this with me right now. Close your eyes and picture yourself 12 months from now. Like, imagine your life. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you feel in your body? What do you see around you? Smells, sensations, what feeling comes through? What do you see yourself doing? How do you wake up in the morning? How do you go to sleep at night? What's around you? Who's around you? How does it feel? Also, what's different about your choices, your energy, your relationships? Now you can open your eyes now. I'm going to share with you something personal. I remember doing this exercise myself in one of my lowest moments. I pictured myself waking up calm, having time for breakfast without rushing, feeling proud of the work I was doing. Now at the time, it felt really almost like impossible, like I was lying to myself. But writing it down made me realize I didn't have to get there overnight. I just had to start making one choice today, and that future version of me would thank me for doing this. So ask yourself, what is one small choice I can make today that my future self will thank me for? And don't underestimate the small actions, like drinking water instead of a third coffee, or saying no instead of an automatic yes, or leaving your phone in another room for an hour, or going to bed and having a good sleep. It all counts. Your journaling prompt for this section is, if my future self could speak to me right now, what would they ask me to start doing? And what would they ask me to stop doing? So if this is hitting home for you, then please do me a quick favor here. Hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. And tell me below in the comments, which of these tools are you going to try first? And if you've tried them, how did they help you? Your story could be the one that inspires someone else to finally start their reset. And you might be thinking, Arena, these are so simple. Can they really change anything? Yes, because burnout isn't healed by one dramatic transformation. It happens through very small things over time. And it's also healed by consistent micro shifts that retrain your brain and body out of that survival mode and into a peaceful place. Now think of it like your phone battery. If you're at 1%, plugging it in for even 5 minutes charges what's possible, right? So that's what these tools do. Small resets that restore enough energy to move forward again, and then you build that momentum. And here's the truth. Burnout isn't a life sentence. It's a signal. It's your mind and body telling you that the way you've been doing things is unsustainable. And that's not failure, that's feedback. Most people ignore the feedback until they collapse. But you're here, which means you've already kind of picked up on that. So you're now getting the choice to choose awareness over avoidance. And that choice alone is what can change everything. Here's what to do next. Download your free core values workbook. The link is in the description. Also subscribe, because I'm going to do a series on these videos, which I feel are going to be really, really helpful if you resonated with this one. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. And if you're ready to go even deeper, then join the waitlist for the Freedom Formula Workshop, which is, I'm going to do a free workshop in January to kind of take you step by step through what it takes to kind of transform things overall in your life and to kind of shift direction if you've been feeling like something needs to change. Again, the link is in the description. Now, you're not here to live half alive. You are not here to drag yourself through each day and call that living. And burnout may be the silent killer, but awareness is the wake-up call. And you've just answered it. Your reset doesn't start someday. It literally starts with this video and the fact that you showed up here. And that moment is here. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this has helped. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Bye for now.